I got 10 o'clock. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today is Tuesday, September 3rd. We will get started. Commissioner Bardsley will lead us in prayer, and then Commissioner Wright will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand.
Bow in an attitude of prayer. Gracious God, Heavenly Father, as we come to you this day, we're thankful for life and for liberty, for the opportunity to live in a land of freedom. We thank you for those who have paid those great sacrifices that we might live freely. Help us in our communities to honor those and to continue to respect those, not only that are serving in military positions right now, but those that grant us safety in the streets, public safety, and all those that are working for our communities. We pray today, Father, for wisdom, direction, and strength. Thank you for your love and your mercy that endures forever. Help us to follow after you. We'll thank you for all your many blessings. I pray it in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, all three commissioners are present. We will jump into claims, payroll, and minutes. I'm looking to ratify claims that was pre-approved on 8/25/2024. General fund was $85,431.28. Other was $156,838.54. Highway Department was $9,302.52 for a grand total of $251,572.34. Again, I give a pre-approval on 8/25/24 and just need that ratified, please.
I would move to ratify the 8/26/2024 invoice edit reports as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. Any other questions or discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to 9/3/2024 claims. General fund was $59,111.08. Other $144,189.38. Highway Department was $1,982.67 for a grand total of $205,283.13. And I am looking for an approval for claims for today.
Motion to approve the September 3rd invoice edit reports as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. We will move on to payroll number 18. Pre-approval was given on 8/27/2024 for pay dated 8/30/2024. The gross amount was $636,447.17. And I would just like to ratify that payroll pre-approval, please.
Move to ratify the payroll number 18 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We will move on to the minutes. You gentlemen have had a chance to review minutes for the special joint session on July 10th, 2024, as well as July 15th, 2024. Is there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Mr. President, I would move that we pass our minutes from July 15th and July 10th as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve the minutes dated for July 10th and July 15th. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved. So I think that covers claims, minutes, payroll. We will move on to communications and board updates, elected officials, boards, special committees. Madam Auditor, anything for the good of the order?
Not at this time.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
Morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. A couple things this morning. We did put out our monthly briefing for the month of September just this morning, and a couple really notes on that I want to bring up. With the health department, we have detected, there's been West Nile detected in Grant County, so we are keeping an eye on that. Talked to Tara this morning. We've had no cases reported or anybody with symptoms of any of that, but it has been found in mosquitoes in Grant County, so it's inevitable at some point. It's probably going to get here. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that and keep you posted if we need to. The other thing from the health department was they do now have adult COVID-19 vaccines available by appointment, so you can call there and make an appointment. And in the area of health, I'm very glad to report that Marion Health East is planning to be open on the 23rd of this month, which is a great deal for the county. And they are planning an open house on the 15th of September. So, a couple other things near and dear to me, of course, is I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that September is Preparedness Awareness Month. So we'll be putting some stuff out throughout the community. This is a good time to look at those plans. Wintertime's coming. Make sure you got your kits ready, everything's new batteries, those kind of things. And toward the end of the month, for 3 days, between the 27th and the 29th, you can expect somewhere in the neighborhood of about 50,000 visitors to Grant County for the two-car shows and the river rally. So plans have been made and reviewed and updated from last year, so we're as ready as we can be for that. And, so with that, we have to take any questions. Okay, want me to do that now? So we did present to the council last week a proposal in the EMA Department of Emergency Management, Grant County, to change our structure from a one full-time, two part-time personnel to two full-time and then an on-call position. So put that really before the commissioners. You are the guys that tell me how many people I can have and those kind of things. So that's really the structure we would like to go to. And Commissioner Barnes will probably remember, it was structured that way for many years. In many of the counties, the size of Grant County, do operate with two full-time personnel. This helps us to really make sure that there's always somebody available 24/7. Chaos doesn't take a holiday, so we have to be ready at all times. So it really helps alleviate some of the burden for one guy to have to do it all, one person. And since we brought on Dr. Jim Willie a couple months ago, he's working part-time for now, but again, he's already proven to be a big asset, particularly in the school safety committee. That's been huge and just continues to grow. Our cybersecurity committee continues to grow, so there's a lot of things coming at us that we didn't deal with so much in the past, but we don't see them going away, unfortunately. So we're requesting the ability to do that. Take that under advisement and let me know, however, but we did put that before the council as well.
And the council was in agreement with that, or?
Well, it's just part of the budget process.
Gotcha.
We have an
I would encourage the commissioners to move forward. The demand on EMA is increasing. It is not slowing down.
I agree.
And I can't say I remember any exact words, but I was probably a little bit leery when we went down to the one full time. Because when we had meetings and you were having to phone in from vacations just to pipe in, we need a second available that can make decisions. And I'm all in favor of moving forward with this proposal.
Does this need to be in form of a motion from the commissioners?
I would, since we're changing the structure, I would say it did.
So are you putting that in the form of a motion?
I will make that a motion that we affirm the change in the employment status, the employee process at EMA, and that we recommend that the council approve the 2025 budget as presented.
I would second that.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Bardsley, a second by Commissioner Wright to approve the Grant County EMA 2025 budget and restructure request. Did I say that correct?
I think that's fair.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Jackson at this time, or hearing none? All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
One other thing while you're here,
Yes,
Mr. Jackson, I know we're getting close in order to have that building emptied out there. So for demolishing that, Mr. White, you as well. And I think Auditor, due to the fact that they've been in budgets, there's a few things out there that still needs to be moved out there, I think from you, but we'll get that after the budget. When do you think you might be able to?
I can't pinpoint a date at this time. I'm
Okay.
kind of busy.
Because that's kind of what we're holding up on right now, is getting their stuff out of there. So as soon as that's out, we'll let you know when that is, and then you guys can get it on your list of things to do. And I just know we want to do it before the snow flies. That's what we'd like to do, and get that building taken down. I think the council was in full agreement that it needs to go away. And so we'll be working on that. So
I'll coordinate with Mr. White and whatever
You have
will
to-
happen. We will.
that'd be great. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson, while you're here,
Sure.
do you want to jump to number 4 in case you got to roll out of here?
So a couple things. One, EMPG, that's, I apologize, I just didn't have this on there, but we know that the EMPG grant, that's the employee salary, I don't want to say the match, but we get $30,000, and it's $30,000 again for 2024. We're always a year behind that, so that has just opened up, and we'll apply for that, and then we'll receive that money next year. We did, or should very soon receive the $30,000 for this year. Do you know anything about that yet?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think we have received that yet.
That should be coming
Anytime.
and that'll be 2023's. So that grant is available. I'm going to assume you'll be okay if I go ahead with that. That's kind of a bigger one for the year. Does that need to be a motion?
Seeking the grant.
Yes.
If it's a grant, we've got to give a motion.
And
We're gonna do that.
and one more time, what the grant was.
So that is emergency match performance grant, that basically pays for the salaries of, and they will pay, and it doesn't change that whether we're 2 full-time or 1 full-time, 2 part-time. The state accepts either one of those structures that they'll pay the grant on.
And again, one more time with the name.
Emergency management performance grant.
Performance grant.
Yeah, I'm really bad at throwing acronyms out there. EMPG, and that's 2024 spring.
So it's yet to come in this year
So we have to apply this year.
to get it for next
To
year.
get it for next year, and then we should
425.
be receiving 2023's, hopefully. We've been awarded the grant, it's just a matter of the state transferring.
And how much money are we talking about?
$30,000.
$30,000.
And that is based on the population each county receives. an amount
Gotcha.
based on the population.
Okay. Chair, ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would put in a motion that we allow Mr. Jackson to go after the Emergency Management Performance Grant for 2024 due in 2025 to the tune of $30,000.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve the EMPG grant, or to at least go after it. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. It is approved.
Okay, so the one that was initially sent is the HMEP, which is Hazardous Materials Emergency Plan. That is a grant through the Department of Homeland Security for hazardous materials training. It's really in conjunction with the LEPC. I think this grant was maxed out at $20,000. There again, and it's limited to training materials only. There are, so we can go for some of the classroom materials such as seats, desks, those kind of things, tables and chairs, which is one of the things we're looking at for this year. And then offering some classes. We just finished a class actually, a hazmat operations, awareness and operations class. So we offer them through the year. This is an opportunity to have the state basically come in and pay for that, separate from our LEPC funds, which we do get additionally anyway. So there again, we're not exactly sure all of the things we're looking at. We know that we wanted to bring a contractor in that does LP training. It's a gentleman out of actually Henry County, has a business down there, but he goes worldwide and does it. He's done it here in Grant County before. So for our first responders, our fire departments, to deal with LP emergencies, they come in and do that training. That was on the list, and that's an approved cost that they will cover. And we think between that and the tables and chairs and maybe one of the hazardous material props that we use for training, will probably cover the $20,000. We'll spend that, unfortunately, pretty quickly.
So it's 20?
20,000.
You said hazardous materials,
Emergency planning.
emergency plan.
The fellow that comes in, are we talking more tabletop, or are we talking actual role play acting out on
That's
the scene?
actual hands-on. He brings a prop. Actually, I'm going to a class this weekend up in Cass County that he's teaching that, yeah, they actually will come in and they'll burn off an entire truckload of LP. So there's hands-on and classroom stuff like
Good,
that.
good.
And there again, if we don't get that grant, it doesn't cost the county anything. Even if we do, we'll pay that money out. We'll pay it out through the LEPC fund, so it really doesn't affect the county's funding at all.
I would move to approve the EMA going after the 2025 Hazardous Material Emergency Preparedness Grant, and hope that they get it.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright to go after the HMEP grant for $20,000. Any other questions or discussion with Mr. Jackson? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
It's pretty good at those acronyms too.
He is, isn't he?
And we, just so you know too, the 18th,
It's only taken 9 months.
the 18th of this month, we will be doing a tabletop exercise with Marine Utilities, which is a hazardous material exercise we're required to do every year. So yeah, if you'd like to attend that, all you could.
They get points for politicians showing up, so
Do they?
one of us needs to show up.
What date was that?
The 18th.
18th of September?
Yes.
At noon?
Yeah, Marine Utilities will actually do the tabletop at their facility.
Solid waste.
He'll feed you.
I will feed you, yes.
Solid waste.
Solid waste. Oh, that's our solid waste meeting. Okay. Ron?
Has to be wrong.
Ron?
I'll certainly see what I can do. I'll try to be there.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other elected officials? President Middlesworth, you're in attendance. Anything for the good of the order? Yeah, well, she's on the agenda.
Okay, gotcha.
Mrs. Kane, anything? No?
Still pursuing that cemetery, I need that money.
Mr. Hicks?
Old business.
Okay. All right, moving on. IT report, Marcus, are you online? Anybody?
I got nothing. Good.
All righty, thank you, sir. Highway Department.
Morning.
Morning.
Update you on a few projects. We did get all of Wheeling Pike paved and striped and everything a week or so ago. We're still working on the trail project. We've got the all but completed from Sheldon-Meyer to Harold. And then we're starting on this week, putting the top on from Harold to Jalapa. So we're working on that this week. And then our plan is to go to Cook Estates next Monday and Tuesday, hopefully get that paved done. So still working on those projects. We're supposed to start grinding our brush that was brought in later this week and hopefully get that done this week. So that'll be completed. On that side note, what I'd like to do is submit this to the residents that come into, we've had a lot of contractors bringing brush in, and I don't think it was really started for the contractors as much as local residents, so we'd like to kind of put a halt to that, because that's part of their business for when they do a tree removal or trimming or et cetera. So we'd like to, like I said, kind of put a stop on that, because that almost doubled our intake from last year of a lot of contractors bringing it in, and we were only charging them $40 a truckload or a trailer load, or so it's filling up quite fastly. So we'd like to submit this letter to them, if that's right with you gentlemen, on kind of stopping on the contractors bringing it in, and then also checking and making sure that, you know, the residents are from here in Grant County, not other counties or other places. So I think the city of Marion's kind of did the same thing on a lot of their brush intake and stuff.
So, so the 8 foot and under is $20. Is that to the resident or is that to the business owner?
That's to the resident. We're not gonna take any.
You're not going to take any from business owners?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. I just want to make sure I was reading this correctly.
Yeah, that's what we'd like to do is, you know, if they're a resident, you know, like a pickup truck, they'll just charge $20. And then from 8 to 20 foot trailers or whatever, $40, and anything over 20, $100. So we do have some residents that bring in a 22 foot trailer, have about as much as 4 or 5 pickup trucks on it. So it does
Gotcha.
kind of make an issue.
And is that something we have to approve, or?
I would say yes, just for making sure we have it on record.
We make it a
Somewhere
policy.
says
Okay.
anything. That's
Okay.
something.
Because as I read this, if I got this, because you're talking about no longer accept, it almost is like, but we will accept it for this price down below. I'm just kind of critically thinking this letter. And I think proof of Grant County residency may be requested, and the following rate fees have been set.
Okay.
That way they know as a resident, that's what they're going to be paying. Does that make sense? I think, you know, if somebody ended up with this thing, they may just think that's just for commercial business, because that's what you're addressing in this letter.
It's a little vague.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
And I think that would clear that up, Mr. White, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, we'll get it changed.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion if there's no other questions or.
Yep. I'll make a motion that beginning October 1st, 2024, that the recycle center will no longer accept brush and miscellaneous yard waste from commercial accounts, and that we will have a rate for residential customers of 8 foot and under $20, 8 foot to 20 foot is $40, and over 20 foot is $100.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley, to approve the Highway Department's request regarding yard waste as presented. So, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The next thing I had to bring up is I did get a couple quotes on the recycle building on changing the tarp or whatever you want to call it, the cover on it. But I guess one question I had was, do I need to wait until it's approved through the council before I say the dollar amounts and stuff?
Was this a bid process?
This is a quote, but I don't want to go saying their numbers and then find out I don't get the money for the ARP.
So we've approved it and we've sent it to the council for their approval, and they just haven't.
They will do it at their next
Right.
meeting, but I don't want to get the horse in front of the cart here.
Right.
Yeah, I just wait till our next meeting. They'll bring it to us at that time.
Well, still, their meetings after that. And
Oh,
yours is September
16.
are you, how long does it take them to get your tarp?
I'd like to try and get it done this year, that's what
Yeah.
I'm running close on weather. I can wait until the
It's
first of
22.
October.
Yeah,
I
it's-
just,
Angie, you got any thoughts on that? I'd say probably wait, just to be,
safe.
You could approve pending council appropriation.
We could do that.
yeah, we could do
But then I probably should notify until I make sure they get to their.
that. Yeah. I think you're okay. I think you're okay talking about it here,
Okay.
but I wouldn't be putting any orders in until, yeah.
Would you like me to
Sure.
read the quotes that I've received?
Yeah.
Okay. The first company is called Greystone Construction. And, if I remember right, they're based out of Minnesota. Their total price was $120,295. The Clairspan, their quote was $146,347.08. So, I guess I gotta make the motions about both of them. The first company, Greystone, we asked to have the letters put on the side of the building that said Grant County Recycle Center on it. They didn't put that in their bid or their quote. They said that they usually have a third-party company do that. And they said if they do that, usually they don't warn it then because they didn't actually put it on there. So, yeah, so I kind of mixed emotions about that. The other company that's in there, that's part of their quote, and it does, we'll keep it under warranty because they actually do all of it themselves. So, I don't know if it's really worth, $26,000 to have it on there, but.
So it's got to be on the fabric. It can't be on a sign outside.
No, well, right now it's on the fabric. It came that way, or we.
Right.
But, so, I don't know if it's worth that much money.
I was going to say the $26,000 sign's a pretty good size sign. I think we can put up a sign for $1,000. I mean, or less, right? I didn't know does that do what we needed to do or not?
Yeah, I believe it does. It's the same material and everything. It just don't have the letters on it, and they won't warranty it if you do put the letters on it.
I want a warranty. I would think.
So, and we contacted one other company, but they wanted us to do all the measurements and all that. I didn't feel comfortable doing that when, you know, that's part of the job is coming out. Both of these companies came out and measured it all up. I don't want to measure something be wrong and then them say, well, you measured it.
Right.
So I guess my recommendation is Greystone Construction to do it. So if you gentlemen are fine with that, so.
Good with it.
No complaints?
Do we need to take any further action on that or not?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so, right? We've already appropriated the money, right?
Right. I guess as long as you guys accept that, I'd probably say make a motion to accept that pending approval, council transfer the money or however it needs to be stated.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we give Mr. White the authority to go ahead and contract with with Greystone for $120,295 pending council approval for the money.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley. Any other questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And the last thing I was gonna bring up is we did get our bridge inspection, submitted. The consulting firm did have 7 that submitted last Friday. So we'll start reviewing them and scoring them and get the results back to NDOT on that. So we'll start that process.
So it's scoring, send to NDOT, and then NDOT gives us the top.
No, we do the top, then we get with the consulting firm, say your number one selection, then they submit their, contract to NDOT, then NDOT approves it or says yea or nay. Then they send it back to us, and if they say it's all right, then you guys.
Then we get to.
get to contract. So,
They say that if for some reason they say it's not okay, do you just move on down to the
yeah, you go to the second one.
second one?
And if you really can't talk about the money situation on it, that's kind of left up to NDOT. But then if you do go down the second one, you can't go back to the first one. That makes
Okay.
sense. So if you pick your number one pick and you can't make an agreement with them, and then you go to the second one, you can't go back to number one, so. Hopefully here in the next week or two, get those scored, so.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, ARPA discussion. So the commissioners have met, and on the ARPA request projects, we're looking to move 4 requests over to the county council for their approval. And I'll just kind of go through those real quick and see if there's any discussion. We're looking at trying to head off the boiler chiller at the D home is at the end of its useful life. So we're looking at $700,000 for a new boiler chiller there. We're looking to approve the radios for the sheriff's department, EMS, highway dispatch, EMA. And that amount is $1,163,281.24. The highway department has submitted a list of equipment that they have a need for. And so we are looking to approve $1 million for the highway department. And then we have an elevator that just recently broke down in the Salem Bank building, and the cost to repair that, is $87,127.92.
I believe that is a total replacement.
Is that
right?
replacement or repair?
I think it's a repair.
That's repair. Is it just repair?
Just moving the electrical and getting it away from all the water.
So,
And what was the cost for that again?
87,127.92. There is a little sense of urgency to that one because it's gonna take them 13 weeks. And we've got,
If I may also, sir, I have a employee who requires ADA accommodations, and the stairs are very hard.
So it's a real need, it's a real need over there for that.
Backing up to the highway department, do we need to set the parameter on that $1 million?
So the way I understand it, and feel free to jump in here, commissioners and Justin, is that, so we have a list submitted from Mr. White. And in the equipment, on this equipment, he's got 9 different pieces with pricing on here. So the way I understand it is we approve the $1 million. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. We approve the $1 million, but it has to be spent on the list that,
You would essentially make this list, let's say Exhibit A, and all ARPA funding has to adhere from that list.
the reason, because the total came up to $2,585,000, but Mr. White is thinking that he can buy some of this equipment on the used market to save us a lot of money, plus getting more for bang for our buck by not buying brand spanking new.
Right.
So that's the reason we're trying to figure out how that is with not to exceed the $1 million.
So any form of the motion that we make for these 4 items, we need to include that caveat in there about Exhibit A.
Actually, I might want to go ahead and just leave that one out, do 3, and then really go into the detail on that one, because I think the other is pretty straightforward.
Ready for a motion?
Yeah. I think so.
yeah, certainly.
Mr. President, I would move that we add to the ARPA spending list the following. $700,000 for boiler chiller at 501 South Adams. The public safety radios in the amount of $1,163,281.24. And then the Salem Bank elevator repair in the amount of $87,127.92.
And I would second that.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright to move forward with the ARPA spending plan, the D-Home boiler chiller in the amount of $700,000, public safety radios in the amount of $281.24, and the Salem Bank elevator in the amount of $87,127.92. We're looking to move that forward to the county council for their discussion and or approval. I say that right?
Yes.
Any other discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And Mr. President, I would move that we do a request for the ARPA funding in the amount of $1 million that will cover the 9 items listed, as much as they can get with that. 1 would be a roll-off truck and dumpsters, 2 oil distributor truck, 3 full width chipper box, 4 two 9-tire rollers, 5 the number 5 XL 3100 grade all. Number 6 would be a large excavator. Number 7 would be a grader. Number 8 would be a mower max. And number 9 would be a mini excavator that would not exceed $1 million.
And that we can make this Exhibit A.
And yeah, and that this would be for Exhibit A for ARPA, to verify what the parameters was for the request.
I'll second that.
Approval by, or have a motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to move forward the highway equipment list to the ARPA spending plan, to move that forward to the county council. And this list that's been submitted by Mr. White, we will call it Exhibit A, and the $1 million will be limited to the items on this list. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is approved. Anything else under old business, gentlemen?
I would like to kind of talk about ARPA just a second. So coming to the cemetery, I think the commissioners are in total agreement with that. We are holding up just to make sure that we actually, that the city or the trustee does actually get to acquire the land for the cemetery. My understanding, I believe, from Ms. Kane, we should know maybe something by October 1, whether that will happen. So that's the reason we didn't take any action on that today. But I think we will take action on that as soon as we just want to make sure that that $300,000 that's being requested, if we don't have it by the first of the year, we're going to appropriate that $300,000 on something else. So that's the reason we're kind of holding it up from this angle. But hopefully we can go ahead and do that. Our next meeting is, not next meeting, but our first meeting in October is October 7th. So we hope to have an answer. If you can bring us an answer by then, we'll make sure that we get that to the council and see if we get their approval if they so choose to do so. Okay? Is that all right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, moving on to new business, presentation of allowable costs policy. Mrs. Jarvis.
During the State Board of Accounts audit last year and this year, they brought to the attention that we needed to adopt a policy that outlines the allowable and unallowable costs on grant awards. This is such policy, so.
Do we have to make this in the form of a
Yes, we do.
ordinance?
Or no, well, not necessarily an ordinance, but a policy or our handbook.
Okay. Pretty much this is a dictate from the state that we have to have.
Yes.
And Mr. Persinger was the one.
He drafted this.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Oh, okay.
reviewed it and
That's-
approved it.
That was my next question. Good.
Any questions for Mrs. Jarvis?
Questions have been answered.
I will entertain a motion to approve this whenever you gentlemen are ready.
Mr. President, I would move that the Board of Commissioners adopts as policy the Grant County policy for allowable and unallowable costs on grant awards as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright to adopt the policy for allowable and unallowable costs on grant awards. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. It is approved. Mrs. Foy, presentation of Condor Agreement. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
I have an addendum to my original Condor contract. And this is the company that does the back indexing for me. which means they enter the information in so it's searchable by name, legal, or whatever. So this is just an addendum for the next, they're getting ready to start the 1950 to 1967 deeds and miscellaneous documents. So I just need, and Kyle approved it, so I just need a signature from you folks.
I do believe you went in front of the council to ask for their approval on the dollars to pay this company. Is this the same company that,
Yeah,
right?
I just appropriated some money, it's paid for out of my fee generated
Correct.
conservation fund.
Correct,
Yes.
gotcha. Okay. Chair, ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would move that we pass
Addendum.
an addendum for Condor indexing services to help Mrs. Hoy's office digitize records. Would that be a good way to put it?
Support. Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Barnsley to approve the Condor Index Services addendum as presented by Ms. Foy. Any other questions for her? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved.
Would you like to sign it now?
Sure.
Love to. I woke up this morning hoping I could sign it.
There's more room for all three of you.
I'll just take the bottom one since the other two are.
Hey, sir.
I'm gonna need these things full time here pretty soon.
I know, that's
Did I say
what they
that?
just told me.
Did I do it right?
I think so. Yep.
What was that? Hard out.
He didn't have his glasses.
She was telling me I had to have my
Oh, here.
glasses.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Grant application request. Pam Harris.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
And I will
Morning.
feed you, Justin. Madam Monitor. The Secretary of State, I think I've sent you, and Angie has included this information in your packets, had an opportunity for the county clerks, all 92 of us, to participate in a grant application. I filled out an application of items that were needed. This past week, Secretary of State did come and award the clerk's election office the $54,221. And so there you go. Some of the items that I am needing, and that's been requested by members of the election board, which also includes Tom Root and Craig Persinger, as well as my election staff, and also including the inspectors from the various locations. But in my office, there's a cabinet that holds the voted ballots as they are returned to us through the mail. I have the Republican, Democrat, absentee workers that they lock them in the cabinet. They each have their own key, and you cannot get in that cabinet by yourself. It takes both parties to get in that cabinet. Well, it's not big enough. And also we decided that we needed one that might be, this was suggested by the election board member, one that would be fire resistant. So that was one of the items that we were requesting. We also were requesting, and the trick's gonna be is getting it in the building. And I thought about that after the fact. So I need to talk to Vince and see but it hasn't been ordered yet because I'm waiting to speak with you and also the council. Second item is I need some more of the high-speed printers that go out to the vote centers. Each one has a high-speed printer, but I'm needing for some of the locations that have many election machines some more, because it still takes some time to get those ballots tabulated. Also, totem displays. Now, what these are is just a big display that we can preload with documentation from the Secretary of State that have to be on display at each of the locations. We have found that some of the locations, they don't want us taping them, which makes sense. And sometimes even just wall space. Anyway, these could be preloaded in the office and then just easily put up. So that, and then the final item is a software that will help the county citizens if they are interested. They can go on this site and they can see information about the candidates. They can watch the returns come in. We're always hearing that things aren't happening quite fast enough. And so those are the items that we have requested. Now, the one item that is on with the an island software, the $10,000 there, that's for the second year. I was informed and I asked if I needed to revise my request and they said no. But that amount for the second year maintenance and support is for the second year. And so they said that they could not honor that on this grant because that's just for this year. So that's something I need to discuss, and Brenda and I, along with Angie, need to figure out maybe putting that on my budget for next year or the following year. But those are our items that we're interested in. Again, this is the HAVA grant, and that's Helping America Vote Act. And so it is totally different from the ARPA funds, because I've got a feeling that some might be saying, well, why didn't you request some of these monies for that project that is sincerely important to the clerk's office and to the county in general. But it's a totally different fund. This is for election use, and that doesn't qualify. But what I need to do though is, because it has been accepted, got the cute little picture where the Secretary of State came and awarded us. But I need, because there will be contracts involved and various things that as those are being prepared, I will need to come to you again with those. But I do, and also I've never done this before, so I might be a little out of whack. But Shelley Sapp works for the county, who has helped with several grant situations, has said that she would be more than happy to help us get on our feet there. And I believe you might have mentioned Shelley to me, so thank you. But anyway, I just was needing your approval. And I'm hoping you're okay with it since they've already given us. Oh, another thing, monies that are not used go back to the Secretary of State. I can't use them for other projects. They're very, sticklers on that, so.
So you've already been awarded the grant,
Yeah.
and this is the items that you want to spend the money on.
Correct.
Okay.
These are the items that the Secretary of State has already approved.
Any discussion or questions for Ms. Harris?
And I want to apologize because I've never done this before. So if I've gotten out of order on the process, I am sorry. I apologize.
No need to apologize, ma'am.
I think we need to authorize the clerk, the the go-ahead to proceed with the sub-grant agreement as presented, and that we also approve her expenses as presented. So she has to be able to sign on the county's behalf. We need to authorize her to do that and to make those expenses as she's presented.
May I also just interject a thought that just popped in my mind? Also, this will also be a big question, most likely for the council. I have to purchase these items and then send them the invoice. Okay, so you know how that, see, I don't know how that
They
works.
do that a lot with
Okay.
the EMA and
Okay,
Homeland Security types of grants. You have to do it and then get basically reimbursed for it.
thank you. See, you know what you're doing, I don't.
Hopefully it'll be before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I have a question real quick. I may have misunderstood. But since they won't honor that second year.
Yeah.
Do you have another item to spend that $10,000 on?
I don't have, except, when we, this is something I need to talk to the Secretary of State about, is like with this big safe, cabinet, I'm wondering if because I didn't take into account even like the shipping and getting it into the building, if they will allow me to shift part of that, since it is all part of my proposal. But if I don't use it, I can't say, oh, well, I could do this, because it's got to be already on the proposal. So I can't use it anyplace else.
And one other question that I have on the $10,000 for the second year. Money in your budget, and is that going to be a yearly fee for support?
That would be, that would be.
Seems a little high to me, $10,000 a year, every year.
I'm not really sure what kind of support you need. I mean, I'm just trying to.
I would be glad if that would be helpful to request that their representative come and help explain that.
Is that for microvote or?
No, this is, the name of the company is An Island,
I wonder if
An
Marcus can
Island Software.
give us a little. Yeah, my only, I think it's great, and congratulations on the grant. Yeah, my only concern or question I have is that $10,000 for maintenance and support. I could kind of see a second year, but if there's going to be a contract every year for that, I just don't know. But I'm not an IT guy, so at all.
I think what you've got is the beauty and or the pain of proprietary information.
Right.
And you're using our product and you're not going to get anybody else to take care of your product, that product, but us.
Yeah.
That's my theory, but.
Okay.
You go back to the Indiana Secretary of State and ask for $10,000 a year grant money.
There you go. They were very generous, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
Is there a timeline that we need to have on this, Ms. Harris, or not? I mean, I know you already got funding coming.
Yeah, yes and no. There are some of these items that I would sure like to have by the upcoming general election. Especially with this being a presidential election, that cabinet, I would sure like to have those printers and those totems. An Island would be helpful to have, and there again, with next year, we won't have an election next year. And so that, that would be a concern. So, I don't know.
See if
I'm not sure.
see if they'll move the second year to the third year.
There you go, there you go.
We don't have an election next year.
Yeah,
See if we can get that warranty and support going to the third year. I think that would be a little bit of a cost savings there. If we don't have an election, why pay them $10,000, right, for tech and support?
We have the money in hand.
Yeah.
Why don't we ask the clerk to run a little interference on these questions and bring it back to us yet this month?
Could you bring it back to us at our next meeting?
we sure can do that. Thank you,
And then we'll dive into this just a little bit more
sounds good.
now that we
Thank you
know.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Harris, thank you, thank you.
Any other new business, gentlemen, that you can think of or would like to discuss? So, 17th.
16th? Our next meeting?
Yeah. 16th. All right, we will move on to public comment. At this time, the public is invited to speak before the board. Please approach the podium when recognized by the president. State your name, address, concerns, or comments. No complaints, accusations, or name calling regarding personnel can be allowed during this public discussion time. Time limit of 3 minutes would be given. If more than one person is represented for a group, only one spokesperson will be heard. It is expected that professionalism and courtesy be displayed at all times during the public comments portion of the meeting. Anybody in the public wish to speak at this time?
Not necessarily representing the public, but Shane Milberg, Grant County Council.
Yes, sir.
You guys approved the ARPA, this roughly $700,000 for boiler chiller. What size or capacity, or do we know, is that the same equipment that's already in there, or is it being sized for bigger? Or?
That's a good question. I'm assuming it's the same
Replacement.
replacement, yeah.
Okay, that was my only question.
Are you thinking?
Well, I know in years past, if we was gonna make that a dual facility, that the size of that boiler chiller wasn't big enough. So I didn't know if that was taken into consideration.
I don't think so, yeah.
Just something to think.
Yeah, Justin, do you know anything about that as far as in the past? I mean, was it taking care of the whole building before?
Yeah.
I think,
I just know, like, when the home issue come up, they kept talking about the airflow, and the size of that for the, if you're gonna double the amount of juveniles in there or whatever, what made for that capacity. If that makes sense.
yeah,
Just something to think about.
we'll dive into that a little
Yeah,
more.
for sure.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
Deborah Kane, Center Township trustee, I just want to thank you for considering my request. And I have my reading at the city council tonight. And I've also have a little bit of an update on the situation with Brian Jeffries. As of right now, I cannot confirm, but I put in a public request that he has not submitted yet any of his financials. So that, sadly to say it this way, but that's in my favor. He has not completed the required cemetery law course that he was supposed to have done within a couple months. He's not submitted his quarterly reports. And I continue to get complaints from the citizens. I've gone out there a couple different times to meet a couple of them that are really upset. And so this is a good move that we need to make for the public, and I know that they will be very grateful. And I've also had, as of last week, I had conference call with the DNR because there are Indian mounds out there that he has sold off as plots. And so they are stepping in to help me with that. I've received the responses from 2 complaints from the Todd Rikita's office, and they placed the investigation into my hands, which then helps me when I go forward with the pursuit of the law. So appreciate your consideration. I just wanted to give you that update. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else at this time? All right, our next Board of Commissioners meeting will be Monday, September 16th. We are in recess. Thank you.